everyone. Welcome to this week's Expert Series. I'm so excited to be here today with Uri Attia from Portable Chef. So tell me a little bit about Portable Chef and what you do.
Well, Portable Chef is a custom farm-to-table meal delivery business. So what we do is we create meals for people based on their dietary preferences and requirements, goals if they have any as well. And the common thread that runs through all of our cooking is that meat and produce is sourced directly from farmers, and farmers who tend to work on small family farms, and all of whom sort of raise their produce the right way, meaning without chemicals, hormones, or pesticides of any kind.
Fantastic. And where do most of your farmers happen to be located?
For the most part, they're close to the city. They're within a 4-hour drive or something of New York City, and that's true for certainly for like the awesome season in the Northeast of like spring, summer, early fall. And when it gets to winter, I go a little bit farther afield for my produce, just to break up the root vegetables and leafy greens that you can get in the Northeast. But I'd say about 80% local.
That's fantastic. What's sort of the variety that you work with within your meal planning and the different types of menus that you offer?
Well, I mean, our cooking sort of cuts across a bunch of sort of different styles, different cuisines, different methods of preparation. Really, like, I mean, just yesterday, I mean, I did roast pork with a white wine sauce, so sort of very French in preparation, and then we also did some fish with a Penang curry sauce that had a really strong Thai influence, and you know, something that really, I think, keeps it interesting, not only for me, but especially for my clients, is that sort of constant variety. What clients do when they come to me generally is they get most of the meals they eat from me. So I have a certain responsibility that sort of goes beyond that of a restaurant, which is to offer some real variety and real breadth of cooking.
Absolutely, because there's something to be said for not having to eat the same meal 5 days in a row, because that was what was delivered to you.
That's exactly right.
That's fantastic. Okay. And how do you work with the folks who come to you who have, say, like a gluten allergy or are vegan or kind of experimenting with different ways of eating? How do you work with that?
Sure. Well, generally, I mean, when a new client comes to me, the first thing I do is get a sense of their dietary requirements, which sort of takes a priority over everything else. And, you know, those, if there's a specific overarching diet, or if it relates to specific ingredients that a client may or may not want. I mean, big examples of that would be somebody with, you know, who's gluten sensitive or who is vegan and won't want to have any animal products. And we'll get that information and sort of incorporate that into the menu that's crafted for them. And then the next layer on top of that would be involving preferences, or what my clients like and don't like, because all the sort of diet compatible, healthy meals in the world won't do any good if you don't want to eat them.
Absolutely. I'm with you there, that, you know, it has to be done in a way that feels awesome and feels enjoyable, and you're also getting some healthy benefits.
For sure.
Very cool. Okay. I'd be curious to know as well what you enjoy about cooking, because obviously one does not get into this business and into cooking 6 days a week if one does not love cooking.
That is true. And I've loved cooking ever since I was a kid, and the element of cooking that I really liked was that there was a very sort of, it's like a really ephemeral art form. And my parents are fine artists, and my dad's an architect, and you know, his work will stay standing for hundreds of years. As a cook, you spend all day or sometimes several days making something, and then you know, over the course of you know, a few minutes or a few hours, it's all gone. And my house, it's generally a few minutes, but it's there's something very appealing to me about that, about its sort of temporary quality. So that was sort of you know, one element that I always really liked. And then as I got older, really the sort of the political element of cooking came into the fore for me, and really like how what you eat says something about how you feel about animal welfare, how you feel about chemicals in the environment, you feel about how farmers are treated. I mean, there's so many little pockets and so many opportunities to sort of create food the right way, and you know, unfortunately not enough people are doing all those things. There's a lot of effort now to change that, which is amazing, but still the sort of, you know, institutional food process by which, like, you know, 99% of the country eats wouldn't get satisfactory grades in any of those categories I just mentioned. It feels great that like the biggest check I pay out each week is to a farmer that owns his farm and that is selling me his produce, and that feels fantastic, you know, to really just be voting with my dollars and really have most of them go to producers that are, you know, making great food in a manner that I really support.
Awesome. And as a food industry professional, the fact that, you know, most of your money is going towards investing in great food, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's probably where it should be going.
for sure.
So for people who are looking at doing more home cooking,
Yeah.
or who want to take a little bit more ownership over their food preparation,
Yeah.
how do you suggest they make it more enjoyable, or how can we make it more time efficient?
Yeah, well, I think that's a big hurdle, because it is really important. A great way to eat healthily and to get control over what you eat is to prepare the food yourself and to source ingredients yourself. But it does get really time consuming. And one thing you can do to save time is to find great recipes that you can do in bulk. Whenever you cook anything, there's like a certain amount of time you spend planning and shopping, and a certain amount of time that you're going to spend cleaning up. And those things are generally the same, whether you're cooking for 1 or you're cooking for 15. So, you know, that's something that you can really do to save time. And, you know, in terms of making it more enjoyable, I mean, I've always liked cooking, but I think one thing that's really sort of taken it to another level for me is really the sense of getting liberated from a recipe. I mean, I grew up learning how to cook by really following a recipe, and if there was no champagne vinegar in the house, then you had to go out and get champagne vinegar, otherwise this recipe could not be done.
Sure.
And there's just something very liberating about using a recipe as a guideline. I mean, some of your techniques, like how to cook a chicken breast, you should know how to do, but like beyond that, the flavoring elements and things, there's no magic to the recipes that you have, and the magic really comes in your own creativity. So I think if you can you know, liberate yourself from that idea and say, okay, well, I don't have champagne vinegar in the house, but I do have, you know, I do have this, you know, I do have this lime here that's sitting around. You know what I mean? You can do anything to just sort of spruce it up and really make it your own.
That's really cool. And then it becomes, like you say, an art form, and it is something that is unique to you and to your own process.
Definitely, definitely. It really gives you a much greater you're able to tap in much more clearly into the sort of creativity of the effort.
That's awesome. And that's just inherently more fun.
It's totally fun.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite thing to make?
Oh, man.
Tough question.
Yeah, I mean, I really, you know, the things I like, I tend to like simple preparations and things that really sort of show off the flavors of the great produce that we get.